If you've ever noticed someone triggering you intensely, someone whose mere presence makes your blood boil, understand this. That reaction is a signal, and psychology explains exactly what it means. You probably think you hate them because of what they're doing, but the truth is darker than that. The person you can't stand is not actually the problem. What's happening is something psychology discovered over a century ago, something most people spend their entire lives never figuring out. And when you understand it, everything changes. Here's what happens. You meet someone. Maybe it's at work. Maybe it's in a relationship. And something about them, their tone, their confidence, their way of taking up space, it gets under your skin. You tell yourself it's just who they are, that they're annoying, arrogant, toxic, pathetic, whatever word fits. But here's the uncomfortable part. The intensity of your reaction doesn't match the actual offense. Someone else meets that same person and shrugs. No big deal. But you replay the conversation for hours. You feel it in your chest. You might even vent to friends about how much they get to you. That gap between what they actually did and how violently you reacted is where the real information is. And if you keep attracting the same type of person into your life, if you've had multiple relationships with similar patterns, if the same trait you hated in, your parents somehow showed up in your partner, that's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And patterns have causes. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, called it the shadow. And it's not mystical. It's not about demons or dark forces. It's about the parts of yourself that you, consciously or unconsciously, decided were unacceptable. The parts you rejected. These rejected parts don't disappear. They don't vanish because you ignore them. Instead, they leak out. They distort your perception. They make you see things in other people that often aren't even there. And here's what's wild. Once you understand how it works, you can actually use it to know yourself better. This isn't just theory. This is a lens for understanding why you feel what you feel, why you attract what you attract, why certain people drive you absolutely insane. Let's start with the basic mechanism. And I want you to really follow this because it explains everything that comes next. You are born. As a child, you're told certain things are good and certain things are bad. Not by philosophy, by observation. You see what gets you love and attention. You see what gets you punished or shamed. And your developing brain, which is desperate to survive, catalogs this information obsessively. The things that get you rewarded, you emphasize those. You develop those. Those become your persona, your personality, the you that you think you are. The things that made your parents uncomfortable, that violated the unspoken rules of your family, those get buried. Your young brain is literally trying to survive in your family system. And survival means fitting in. So imagine a kid who grows up being told that anger is bad. When he feels angry, he gets told, nice boys don't get angry, or he sees his father's rage destroy things and thinks, I will never be like that. His developing self says, anger equals dangerous. Anger equals not me. So he represses it. But here's the critical part. Repression doesn't mean it goes away. It goes underground. It becomes the shadow. Now imagine this kid grows up. He's 25 or 35 or 45, and he meets a colleague at work, someone who speaks up in meetings, someone who stands firm, someone who isn't afraid to say no. And something about this person makes him furious. He'll tell himself, they're so aggressive, so arrogant, so selfish. I can't stand being around people like that. But here's what's actually happening. He's seeing his own repressed anger reflected back at him. The part of himself he exiled decades ago. Because he's never integrated it. Because it's forbidden, he experiences it as something disgusting in the other person. This is projection. Let me give you another example, because this is universal. You know that woman who seems insecure? She's always fishing for compliments. Always talking about her looks. Always worried about what people think. And you find her exhausting. Pathetic even. You judge her constantly. But what if, and sit with this, what if you rejected your own neediness long ago? Maybe you grew up in a family where being needy meant being weak. Where your mother had a meltdown and suddenly you learned, needing things is dangerous. So you built a self-sufficient identity. I don't need anyone. I'm independent. I'm strong. And that became your armor. But your human need for connection? that doesn't disappear. It gets exiled to the shadow. And now, when you see someone expressing that need openly, your reaction is disproportionate, because you're seeing the part of yourself you've been at war with for decades. Here's another one that hits people hard. That trait you hated in your parent, the one you swore you'd never become. There's a reason you keep attracting it in your partners, or a reason you catch yourself doing it. Maybe your father was a workaholic, absent, always choosing work over family, and you told yourself, I'll never be like him. But what if you inherited his ambition, his drive? You push those down because they were attached to his pattern. So you try to become the opposite, but the drive doesn't disappear. It just becomes unconscious. And then you end up in a relationship with someone exactly like your father, or you catch yourself becoming him under stress because you never actually integrated that part of yourself. Here's the thing about the shadow. It's not evil. It's just exiled. It's the part of you that you decided wasn't safe to be. But the more you reject a part of yourself, the more power it has over you. The parts of yourself you won't acknowledge are literally controlling your life. They're determining who triggers you. They're determining who you attract. Invisibly, you think you're making decisions, but you're being puppeted by the parts of yourself you refuse to integrate. And the person you hate, they're not your enemy. They're a mirror. They're showing you something about yourself that you need to see. I will be breaking the shadow into 3 layers. In our next video, if you find this interesting, kindly subscribe for the next. These are traits that you have made story about you wouldn't want to miss out.